Okay, so, second video of the day. As I predicted, that girl downstairs sicked my son on me. He came up here just a while ago, about an hour or whatever it was. First of all, he tried to act like he was concerned about my eyes. Asked me how things were going, and I guess how my appointment went. And I just, fine, whatever. Like, what do you want? And then he just basically went in on me, people. In a nutshell, he threatened, well, he says he's going to change the locks on the door downstairs, and that I'm not allowed in the basement anymore. And that he might even go as far as start throwing everything out, because that's his space. And I told him to get the fuck out. Like, why doesn't he just fucking move already and be done with it? And I told him that I'm the one that holds the lease in this house. Then he tried to say that he subleases. And I'm like, no, you don't. You're my son. Right? You're 30 years old, so what? You pay rent. Right? Like, this is out of fucking control. Right? He says he needs to protect his girlfriend from me. Right? As she's recording me. Because I called him on it. I said, your girlfriend recording, right? And he goes, yeah. So I talk to her. She's fucking recording it on her cell phone and then letting him listen. Like, who does that? Right? And getting him all geeked up to fucking come upstairs and attack his mother. Like, what the fuck? Why doesn't this girl go take Marcane and go move into her parents' house, people? Why did she move into my house, people? I told him, you want to lock me out of that fucking basement? Do whatever. I will call the cops on you. I will fucking charge you with fucking theft. Yeah. Serious. You want to take it there? Take it there. Like, this is bullshit. Total, complete, bloody bullshit. And then, because, you know, Tisha's dad is in the hospital, she calls me with an update to say that they're going to be giving him blood transfusions now and a whole bunch of tests, and they're going to keep him because that's how sick he is. Right? And then she's catching wind that I'm fighting with Marcane, as Marcane is, after he's done arguing with me, following Andre outside, saying, well, who do you want to be your parent? Do you want me to be your parent, or do you want Nana to be your parent? Andre come and told me this, and I said, well, what did you say, Andre? He said, well, you, Nana. I said, you do realize Marcane is trying to take you away from me now, right? Because, you know, it's a fucking power trip, people. That's all it is. He's calling me this and calling me that. And then he brings up Edgar's, one of his friends' fucking mother, who happened to be an immigrant, had 6 kids, was, I don't know, working, and she bought a house. Yeah, she bought a house, did for herself, did nothing for the community, never gave anything back to the fucking community. I said, what, so you're mad I didn't buy a house? I had to look after Uncle John. Did that immigrant woman have to look after anybody? No. No, she only thought about herself like the rest of the fucking immigrants that move into this fucking country. Do you think any of these immigrants ever think about the fucking community? Hell no. They're too busy trying to get the next house by any means necessary, people. That's what my videos have shown you. You know how many old people, white, Caucasian old people, are locked up in these temporary care wards in these old folks' homes as the immigrants that are working in the healthcare system take the houses? Lots. It's all immigrants working, caught plotting and scheming how to lock up the old white people so they never get released from the care home or the temporary care home like Uncle John, so their assets can be stolen, to which many of those assets are houses. So the UN soldiers can come in and just start demolishing them after the fact. And my son is mad at me because I didn't buy a house so that when I die, he can get part of the money. I said, because I said, so what? You know what? Her kid's going to inherit the house? Oh no, they'll just sell the house and share the money. I said, yeah, okay, well, we know what you're all about, don't we? Like, what the hell, man? Calling me this, calling me that, putting me down. Like, you're a piece of fucking shit to even talk to me like that. And this girl thinks it's funny. Oh no, oh no. The only reason she was laughing because it was a nervous laugh. No, it wasn't. There was nothing nervous about her laugh, people. It's bullshit. Total bullshit. Complete bullshit. And this is what wants to look after me and tells me he's gonna keep me safe? Yeah, I don't think so. Move the hell on. Seriously. I told him, why doesn't your girlfriend go get a job and you guys go have your own kids? Go have your own kid. Seriously. No. He says, well, you don't. I said, move out. You don't know what it's like out there, Mom. And in terms of how expensive it is. No, I do know. I'm facing homelessness. I'm reminded of that all the time by my landlord, okay? As if I don't fucking know that already. My son just wants to speed up that process. I'm going to be using these. It's 7:20. It's 7:30 in the evening, and I haven't even started this yet. I woke up feeling like crap. I wasn't even up for 2 minutes, people. Just started walking around before the phone rang. Oh yeah, and then of course Tisha jumped on the bandwagon and sided with Marcane and his girlfriend, right? What's new? I told her to stop being a busybody. Right. And I'm supposed to live. Oh, Mom will live forever. But you know what? The way they act, they don't want me to live, people. They don't. Let's face it. This is, if you want somebody to live and be happy and be healthy, this is not how you treat them. I get it from this bitch. I get it from my bitch son. And now Tisha's jumping on the bandwagon. I guess strength in numbers, right? I don't even want Andre going downstairs. This is not a healthy situation. I tell this to Andre. But I'm willing to go with the flow. You know, families have disruptions. Families have conflicts. But this is more than just a disruption and a conflict, people. We know that. I went through it with Joan. I went through it with Austin. I went through it with Julian. And now my son has recreated the cycle. And he's out to destroy me. Just so that he can be above me. I'm just saying. Okay, so what's going to happen here is I'm going to wash these brand new jars, brand new lids and everything. And I'm going to put them in the oven at 250 for at least a half an hour, and that will sterilize them. And then those are the jars that I'm going to use to put in some pork that I have in my fridge that should have been canned hours ago. If I would have started at 11:30 versus at 7:30, I would have been done by now. And because I already took out the fat from the freezer, and it's going to have to be dealt with like soon. Don't be surprised if I just don't start giving the fucking raccoons a whole bunch of meat here pretty soon. I have a turkey over here because I took it out of the freezer because I got these almonds coming, which I have to throw into the freezer to keep them fresh because Andre wants almond milk for these smoothies that we're going to be making. So I bought a bunch of almonds for that purpose. I mean, what do they want from me? It just seems like they want me dead. Like, seriously, if you love somebody, this is not how you treat them. Okay? Like, it's a sickness, you know? A complete fucking sickness. Like, let this girl go fucking home with my son and go move into her parents' house and fucking treat her parents like this and have my son fucking treat her parents like this. I'd like to see how far they get with it. I'd really like to see it, people. But that won't happen. No, because they know they wouldn't be able to get away with it, right? Their parents might not give their daughter any money when they sell the house because, you know, their daughter mistreated. But being that I don't have a house, well, no, even if I owned a house, they'd still fucking mistreat me and lock me up and throw away the key just so that they could take the house and sell it and make money. Yeah. Clearly, that's what my son was throwing at me today. Oh, well, Edgar's mom was an immigrant, and she worked and had 6 kids, and you didn't do anything, and she bought a house. At least she had a house, and, you know, her kids would get something when, you know, it's her time to go. I said, what? So they get a house, they're gonna share. Oh, they're gonna sell it, and they'll get money. I said, so that's what parents just represent to you? Like, get out of here. As he's needling Andre to pick sides, to choose sides. Well, I wonder where he gets that from. He gets it from his girlfriend. Yeah. As I argue with Andre over a stupid Nintendo machine. Well, you're always yelling at Andre. I said, gee, Andre, if Nana's yelling at you, what do I yell on him mostly about? More than anything. The Nintendo. I said, exactly. Exactly. Do you know I had to argue with him to give me the Nintendo today so he doesn't get it back until Friday night? So he goes today without the Nintendo, Wednesday and Thursday, and he gets it back Friday at around 7. And he can have it from there Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and then he has to give it back to me. And it's an argument to get it back. Not as much as it used to be, but if I have to, I will raise my voice. And then they use it against me. Because I'm trying to teach time management and boundaries and discipline. I've been asking Andre for a while now to read. No, not read, write. Because he's reading, right? But it's not sticking as well as we'd like it to stick, right? Plus, he needs to do the writing to reinforce what he's learning. And I try and explain this to him, and I give him multiple ways of explaining it to him. Anyway, I explained it to him again today. And I know it's hard for him. You see, that's the thing, right? Just all in all, academics is difficult for him. It's like that for some people. So I came with a solution today. Even before Marcane fucking showed up and started ragging on me to make me feel like I was a piece of shit. And that I never do anything other than be a piece of fucking shit. Like, seriously, my son's got some serious fucking self-esteem issues here, because he's always making me feel like I'm the piece of fucking shit in the house. And he treats me as is, okay? So, besides that point, I said, okay, Andre, clearly you're having a hard time sitting down and just even writing a few sentences, right, in terms of a story. You know, just brainstorming, right? Just giving him the basics, okay? I said, listen, Nana will make it easier for you to help you get started with this. We'll sit down. You think about what the story is. Pick the cats, because he really likes the cats, right? You tell the story with the cats. And I'll sit there and I'll write what you say. I'll be like your secretary. You will dictate to me what I should write. And I will write it word for word. And then after the fact, you sit down and rewrite it. But as you rewrite what I wrote, which are your words, you read those words. And if you do that over enough times, over a period of several months, you're going to find that whatever Marina is doing with you, it's all going to come together. Because you have to read it, write it, and say it. You can't just do one. You have to do others, and then you also have to bring in the dictionary to improve your word power right along with the thesaurus. We're not there yet, but either or. I came with the solution, okay? He liked that solution. I said, okay, well, when do you want to start? And he goes, tomorrow. I said, okay, tomorrow will be fine. Right? And of course, when we start that, after a couple, 2-3 months of him actually writing the words and reading them as he's writing them, knowing that they were his words, whatever this girl is doing with him will just be reinforced, and the learning process will just be more effective, to the point where it becomes like riding a bike. Once you get to that point, you just never forget. And that's what I tell Andre. It's just for some people it takes a little bit longer. Where those two individuals downstairs like to use that against me, and as if it's my fault that Andre is the way he is. Right? And their fucking self-esteems are so damn low because I don't know what their problems are. I just know that it's pathetic, okay? Completely fucking pathetic. And don't come to asking me how I'm feeling, how it's going with my eyes, or telling me that you're going to keep me safe and look after me and all the other bullshit that comes out of your bullshit mouth, because that's all it is a bunch of fucking bullshit. Yeah. Just a bunch of fucking bullshit. I'd rather be dead first before I'd allow any of that happen, people. And it shouldn't be that way, but that's the kind of society that we live in, with everybody stuck on their fucking cell phones, being manipulated and just subliminally manipulated to be, I don't know what, like that freaking eye doctor. Well, he wasn't an eye doctor. He was a technician of some kind that was measuring my iris and for that cataract thing. You know, he just went off on me. Oh, he went on like 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. Holy shit. Calm down, man. Mad at me for 30 years of people spitting in his face. That's what he was mad at me for 30 years of people spitting in his face. And I never even came near his fucking face with my mouth. Like, what the hell? Right? As he acknowledged that he acknowledged it, people, that he was depriving himself of oxygen and that it was affecting him. But even then, he was still in denial. There was a fleeting moment of where he was concerned that he was putting himself at risk for continuing to wear that. As he convinced himself that somehow it was keeping him safe. Whatever. As he was accusing me of possibly making him sick because I coughed. Like, what the hell? Well, it's the same crap that's going on with my son and his girlfriend. Like, I don't know. Okay, it takes 3 hours to cook this when it's cooking. I gotta do some of it. So I gotta get on this. Okay, I only got 8 pint-sized jars here in this one. Okay? $14.81, $4 off. That's not a very big piece of pork with 15 bucks. This one is $8.26 with $4 off. That's just a little piece. And then we've got this one for $7.53 with $4 off. Another small piece. Plus, I took out the fat from the freezer downstairs. It's straight up fat. So some of it I should actually be rendering, to which, after my jars are done, I'm going to get into that fat. And because I'm behind now, people. I'm behind. I got a turkey that's sitting over there that's unthawing. I got a stewing hen out in a box that needs to, I'm going to start cooking up after this is done and start stewing. It's just an old stewing hen, right? Because I'm making room for these almonds, right? Because, you know, and I'm arguing. It's like they want me to sign up to kill myself with that assisted suicide shit. Yeah. But what else is it? What else is it? Right? Huh? What else? They don't love me, that's for sure. There's no love going on in this house. Absolutely none. Any love that it is very fucking self-centered. You know, I guess it's okay to abuse mom because mom didn't buy a house like an immigrant and work hard, you know, do all that shit and just be me. Right? So that, you know, you can just sell it and give it to the money to the kids. Then the kids will love their mom, right? Whatever. Like, seriously. I'm so sick of life. Stupid. So therefore, that allows them to abuse me, right? Yeah. Stupid. Completely stupid. So anyway, just into chunks, right? And then this is going in as is, raw. I don't got time for too much. With a little bit of salt. And then I'm going to go, after I get this cut up, I'm going to get some of that straight up pork fat. Yeah. And I'm going to cut them into pieces. I'm going to put them on top of the jars after the fact. And I'm going to water bath them for 3 hours. So what we've got going on there now is we've got brand new jars that have never been used, washed just now, and put in the oven at 250, and I'll leave it there for at least a half an hour or so. Yeah, 8 o'clock at night. I'm doing this at 8 o'clock at night. Okay, whatever. Feeling terrible, sick, right? Eyes are all wigged out, all stressed out, right? And for what? For what, people? For what? A controlling, backstabbing, I don't know what. Yeah. Anyway, just keep it easy on yourself. Now, if everybody does it in all these other countries, and people used to do it on the farms, and some people still do it, wherever they live, you can do it. Okay? The reason I'm doing it more so is because, one, I want to use up some of this fat, and I don't want the fat to crawl in the so-called quote-unquote pressure canner. So I'm going to try it this way, just to see what I get. And to be honest with you, it'd be interesting to know what the texture is like compared to being in a pressure can. Right? Because if you cook it, the texture comes out different. Whereas if you put it in raw, it comes out different. So it doesn't really matter because I doubt I'll be doing any of this time next year. The way things are going, the stress in itself makes me go blinder faster. And anyone around me, you know, they should know that. And just not go out of their way to make it worse. But they're making it worse. Purposely, on purpose. Right? And it's my fault that the housing market is so corrupt. Right? And that I didn't buy a fucking house for my son so that he can pillage it and sell it and go make himself a home at the expense of that. They're fucking stupid. You'd think he'd be smarter than that. He used to be smart, but not anymore. No. He let that go a long time ago. Yeah. So I'm just cutting them fast into chunks. I got cold water in the pot. My jars are in the oven. Once they've been in there and this is all cut up, turn off, take the jars out of the oven, let them cool before you put your cold meat into them. Okay? Otherwise they're going to crack. And that won't be very fun. And then once you get them in the jar, right, put your salt in. I'm going to put some fat on top. Anyway, I'll be doing this for a couple of days. The only thing is Amari has an appointment tomorrow. And now we've got Tisha on the bandwagon. Wanting to buy Andre a cell phone so Marina can phone him instead of phoning my phone. Right? Whatever. I told him he's not allowed to have a phone. Because I'll tell you, when Tisha comes over here and helps with the kids, and when I go out to my appointment, guess what she's doing? She's just on her cell phone, people. That's it. I say, well, what does Tisha do when I'm gone? That's it. She just sits there. For the most part. But she can't read, right? Yeah, okay. You can't read what you don't want to read, and you read what you want to read. Right? Anyway. All I can think of is I won't be able to do this next year. Because my eyes are getting worse and worse, and my kids aren't making it better. They're making them worse with the stress. And this girl is just egging it on more and more. And I guess she's feeling pretty powerful now. She's got two on her side. Like a Joan Duncan. Right. Yep. That's what Joan used to do. Tried to get everybody to pit. That's stupid. I wish this girl would just go back home with Mark Kane and go harass her own parents. Seriously. I so wish she'd do that, but she'll never do that. Nope. If anything, they sit and they talk about me. But their parents own a house. Her parents own a house. So I guess she's waiting for her parents to die so she gets her share when the house is sold. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. After what my son said to me today, whatever. Sorry I was a big fucking disappointment to you. Yeah. I told you I don't ever want to come back on this earth. It's too messed up. And this is what my landlady props up with her kids. and her grandkids love me for the amount of money I leave behind me after I'm gone. Because if I don't have money, you're not worthy of love. Yeah. And houses represent money. Without a house, you're nothing. Right? I'll be leaving this house soon enough. I'm not sure where I'm going to go, if I even make it there, but I'm not staying. Any longer than I have to. Right. I'll figure it out. See this fat? There's going to be more than that. Because I'm trying something different. And you still have to treat it the same. Even if you were to pressure can it. And people have been doing it this way for thousands of years. Well, maybe not thousands, but hundreds of years. Okay. That should be enough for 8 jars. Plus, I gotta go get some fat now. But my fingers are dirty. So maybe I'll wash my hands first. Okay, so this is the pork fat that I bought a while ago when Andre and I went out to Lucky's. It's probably too much. This one here, I'm going to cut them into pieces, right? Because I'm going to put a chunk into each jar. I can only do 8 jars in this pot. And then the rest, well, I'll put 1 or 2 in the fridge for tomorrow with the rest of the meat, right? Because I'll do this again. Plus I got turkey, because I'm clearing out the freezer a little bit as well here, right? And then, but the rest, I think after these jars are out, I'm just going to chop up this fat, because I got a fair amount, right? And I'm going to render them in the oven. And then I'm just going to jar them up. Oh. I don't know why I waste my time with this. But, like I said, I'm not going to be doing this much longer. So, for anyone that wants to bitch on, well, in a year, 2 or 3 from now, when it's going to be $50 for 1 piece of beef and $35 for just a small piece of pork, that's when they might be grateful for what I did. Okay, because as it is right now, people, they don't appreciate what I do. Okay, my son wants to lock me out from my own house for whatever reason, because it's rough out there and he doesn't want to move and go pay double the money, and he's mad at me that I don't own a house because it just wasn't in the cards for me, right? For me, I was thinking to help immigrants, not act like an immigrant. And therefore, I'm punished for what's going on in the economy right now. As you can see, that's what I'm going to use when I'm ready to fill up my jars. Okay? And I put 3 more of those packs into the fridge for whatever else is in there that needs to be done tomorrow. But it's not going to happen until after Amari gets back from his appointment, because I'll be watching a little Leia May and Kyrie. Right? Because Tisha's going to take Amari to the children's hospital for these leg braces. And I suggested Andre go with her to keep her company because she's driving. And it's a long drive. Okay? So anyway, this is what was in my freezer. But again, I got almonds coming, so I want to make room. And I always intended to do something with this in terms of, you know, melting it down and whatever, right? So I got 6 packs here, which I am now going to cut up and get ready for the oven. So when these jars come out, these will just go in there and they'll start melting, and they'll get ready to go into jars, to which, well, I'm just going to seal them up. And you can see they're coming out really nice. Right? And then I'll wash more jars, and I'll use, I don't feel well, people. Like, I really don't. It's too late to be doing this, first of all, and I've been stressed out all day. Like, anyway, you know, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to use my convection oven after I wash my jars, new ones, right? Because if they've been used, you really should boil them if you're not going to pressure can. But with new jars, all you have to do is basically wash them, rinse them out really good. And then I'm going to put them in my convection oven at 250, and they can sit there for half an hour. And then those jars will be used to fill up this pork lard, which is pure pork lard. Right? And maybe what I'll do this time, well, you know, it's getting dark, and when it's dark, it's hard to see. Right? Why is that there? I mean, it's hard enough to see as it is, but it's worse when it's dark. You see, this is still frozen, right? But it's okay. And then of course, I'd lose my hair because of all this stress. I showed you that already. I can feel it. Right. There's hair in here. I can feel it. There it is. I have to catch it. So I'm a failure as a parent because I didn't buy a house so that my kids could pillage it after I'm dead and make money on it. Isn't that interesting? Right. No different than what my grandmother went through with her kids. Nope. They couldn't wait for her to sell her house so they could get their share. And because my mother died 8 months before my grandmother sold her house, my mother was dead. So her kids convinced her that my mother's children, me and my brother, didn't deserve to get our mother's share because we were nothing but grandkids. And therefore my grandmother only gave me $1,000, to which I bought myself a little Toyota Corolla for $600, packed up my kids, and I left Victoria to come to Vancouver to start a company. And I drove that little Toyota Corolla across the water, got onto the Alex Fraser Bridge, which is one of the biggest bridges in British Columbia, Canada, as everybody was clipping past me at 100 kilometers, if not more. And my car couldn't go past 60 because once I went past 60 kilometers, I didn't know this, it started to shake. You don't know how petrified I was, but I made it across the bridge, people. And I gave it my best shot. Right? But, you know, the movers and shakers, you know, they don't like that competition, right? So anything I ever tried to do never worked. No. And I'm getting punished for it even after all these fucking years. Stupid. Just so some girl that wants to sit up in my basement can take fucking control and inherit everything after I've been basically badgered to death. Yeah. Fuck. Tell me that's not true. And then say she cares about Andre. I asked my son, where's her girlfriends? Tell me where her girlfriends are. I'd like to know. Doesn't she have any? He didn't answer me. Because she doesn't have any people. That's why. Not that women need girlfriends in order to live a productive life, but go have your own fucking kid. Oh, little piece of fat flew off someplace. I heard it. As if I can see it. I can barely see anything here. But as long as it doesn't go to waste. You know what I'm saying? You can fry a lot of stuff in this. This is not what I intended it to be. Let's wait. But whatever. These almonds are raw. And they're kind of coming up to their best before date. So the best thing that I can do is freeze them. And then they'll last a long time. And I have a machine that can make almond milk. And you don't even need that. All you need really is a blender and a, what are those bags called? Jelly bag. Right? So that's what's going to happen. I don't feel well. I didn't feel well when I woke up. I felt awful. And I've been going all day feeling awful. Whatever. The story of my life. These days. I only got a couple of days to do this and then I have to go outside. I have to go outside. And you know nobody's going to help me out there. You know that. They'll be calling me down. That's what they'll be doing. Yeah. Nothing's changed. It's the same old fucking bullshit story. Same old fucking bullshit story. Funny how things don't change. You know, and that's kind of like how I felt about with Shimei when she hooked up with Julian and just didn't fucking break away from him. I'm thinking, where did you learn this from? Because you sure in the fuck didn't learn it from me. I didn't have a man in my life like that, people. I was too busy being that work mule so that my kids even had a fucking roof over their head. And I'm thinking she got it from Sierra. Yeah. And when they took John, oh God, that just threw her over the edge. Just threw her over the edge. I couldn't understand it because she was smarter than that. That was only her third boyfriend. Look what happened. Stupid. And now my son is doing the same thing. And you think he'd know better. Doesn't make no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. Yeah. This is really nice pork fat. Like, look how nice this is. Look, that is so nice. And it's all already kind of cut for you. You just have to slice it through. And it'll make some nice jars of pure lard. Better than what you buy in a grocery store. Yeah. But you think my kids appreciate that? Fuck no. No. Of course not. That's too real. Real pork lard is too real. So I better be careful how much I fill up these trays. I think I'm going to have to get into another tray here. It's going to take quite a few jars. I can see this already. I'll be doing this till 1 o'clock in the morning. And then Tisha will come and rag on me tomorrow. Yeah, it's not over yet. Tisha's going to rag on me now. Yeah. That's the fucking cycle. All because of some stranger that moved into my house. Yeah. Took it over. Literally took it fucking over. And gives back the least. And don't tell me giving Andre what you think you're giving Andre is good for him, because at the end of the day, it's all done under strife. And because my son has the freedom to take him out and do things, because he can see and drive, and, you know, he's got money, and he's not bound to the house like I am, and somehow he thinks he can, I don't know what, buy Andre's love. Right? Because he can take him to a movie, he can take him here, he can take him there, where I'm basically bound to the house, people. Yeah. Just so that my son has a fucking house to live in. I'm going to have to do two separate trays here. I think so. I'm just going to get over with. I'll be doing this at 2 o'clock in the morning. Dizzy as all hell. Okay. So that was 3 packs only. I've got 3 packs in the fridge. You know, I could probably squeeze in 1 more and then put 1 in the fridge. That leaves me 4 to use with whatever's left in the fridge, because I have more, right? More pork, and I got some beef, and I'm doing probably the same method. I'm going to see after this is done what it looks like tomorrow, and if I like the results, then I'll do it again, right? So that's what I'm going to do, because I don't want 2 trays. So I'll just put 1 more tray in the fridge. And that will give me 4 trays of this to continue doing what I'm doing tomorrow when I get a chance. Right. I can't, this is so nice. So nice, you don't even know. And, oh sure, I lost my knife. There it is. And I'm going to put it with the pork that I have still in the fridge. And the beef. I'll use it with the beef. There's 2 trays of beef that I got on sale. And then I've got turkey to do. And I took out an old stewing hand that once this is done, pretty much, well, at least here, I'll start the stewing hand here. Well, that's cooking over there, because that's a 3-hour deal, right? And I can't fall asleep, even though I feel like puking right now, okay? Because of the stress, people. This should have been done hours ago. It should have been fucking finished hours ago. It's bullshit. They disrupt my life so much. It's pathetic. So fucking pathetic. I'm not going to pretend that I'm happy. No. So I can get monetized and make money. Yeah. With my perfect life. I'll tell it like it is. You have to cut them into smaller pieces, otherwise it doesn't render properly. And even then it should probably be smaller, but there's no meat on this. This is all pure pork fat. I can't see very well, but if there was meat on this, I'd trust me, you'd see it. Look at this. Look how clean that is. It's like that through the whole thing. Pretty nice. And it's all been cut up already in slices. I'm so glad I bought it when I did. I mean, look at this. Look. It's all coming in slices. I'm so glad I bought it when I did. And it's been a while. It's been in the freezer because, you know, I'm busy with other things. But this is so nice. So nice. It's going to make some primo freaking lard. Yeah, you can fry donuts in this. Everything. This is the best, I'm telling you. I'm pretty impressed with it. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out how I want to seal the jars without too much effort. Alright. I guess I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. Because I'm not going to put these ones in the fridge. No. Once they're sealed, they're sealed. They're just going, well, I'm being locked out of the basement. I'm being locked out of my fucking house. Yeah. Yeah, okay. As they're poking through my shit, throwing my shit out. Yeah, okay. I'll charge him with theft. I gotta go wash my hands again. Let's see, I'll show you here in a second. You know? Anyway, just leave it for now. Just, I can't dwell on shit, right? See? So as soon as these jars are done and I'm ready, take them out, let them cool, start filling them up with this. If I need a little more, I have in the fridge. And then I'm going to top them off with some fat. And then I'm going to be putting them in there, cold on cold. And I'm going to start heating it up. I bring it to a rolling boil. And then once it's rolling boil, you turn it down to a medium boil. Okay? And you cook it like that for 3 hours. Right? Yeah. And with that method, what I'm hoping is the grease isn't going to... Okay? Otherwise, if you put it in a pressure canner, and you're going to get a whole lot gathering up at the top of the rim. And, you know, for this situation, I want it sitting low on the jar above the food as a sealant. Okay? I'm trying it the old school way here. Okay, this is going on 10 o'clock at night. And this thing has to cook for 3 hours after it starts boiling. Like, seriously, man. This is what I mean. Okay? So anyway, the pork I've cut, right? I have to do this, people, because I got other things I have to do tomorrow, and even then I have to babysit, and I won't be able to get to this till later on in the evening. So I'm going to be up for hours here, okay? And then I'll be ragged on fucking tomorrow by Tisha if I don't get it from fucking my son, okay? Because they come and they gangbang me, okay? With their fucking ragging on me over stupid shit, okay? As the cost of food goes higher and higher and higher, right? So in the meantime, I put a little bit of salt in each one. I don't know where the spoon is now, but I misplaced it. Put down your fork, your pork, push it down, or beef or whatever. And then take this stuff, right? This is that fat, okay? And you put it on top. That's what you do, all right? And it's going to melt as it's cooking, and it's going to give a nice layer of fat on there as an extra preservative to whatever you're doing here, okay? So I'm just showing you. So hold on a minute. Okay, so as you can see, I put a layer of fat on there, okay, to about a 1-inch headspace, all right? And now we're going to be up till 3 o'clock in the morning. Isn't that just lovely? Right? You know, I could be partying, I could be drinking. My neighbors over across the street there, the Africans, they've been partying for 3 days. Yeah, 3 days. Just on and on and on. Day and night. All day. Every day. 3 days in a row. Yeah. I'm just using a paper towel. Don't use toilet paper. And I'm going to wipe the rim. Okay? Right? Now these are cold. Everything's cold. Going into cold water. I'm going to turn on the heat. Bring it to a boil. Once it's boiling, then I'm going to start timing it, I guess, for 3 hours, right? But I'll turn down the heat to a medium rolling boil, and that's how I'm going to cook it. And I'm going to not take off my lid, okay? Maybe halfway through, I might add in an extra bit, but the thing is, once you take off the lid, you kind of break the pressure inside the pot. So the heavier your lids, the better. The better if you have a pot like with the extra bottom on it that retains the heat, the better it is. Like this pot here that I'm using is a great pot. Okay? It's perfect for what I need here. And it's got a nice, really heavy glass lid with no ventilation, so very little steam will escape. Okay? So that's probably, yeah. And then I got that lard that I cut up. It's in the oven right now. Okay, it's in the oven. So after these are in the pot starting to go, I'm going to go grab some more jars, right? I'm going to wash them, and then I can actually put them on the other half side of this oven because it's at 250, and dry them thoroughly, right? And get them nice and hot. And as that lard is melting, because there's no bits and pieces of meat or nothing in it, I don't have to run it through a strainer. I can take it straight up from that pan and pour it into a jar, hot jar. And then you can take your lid, put your lid on, screw on your band, and technically you can, because it's pork, technically you can just turn your jar over, and because it's so hot, it's going to seal the jar, and you're good. You don't have to do anything else with it. Okay, it will seal on its own. So that's probably what I'm going to do as this thing is cooking. But I don't feel very well, people. I really don't. I never felt even that great when I woke up this morning. And I've been having panic attacks all fucking day because of this stupid shit going on with my idiotic son with his ignorant girlfriend. Like, seriously, I can't believe this is fucking happening all over again. I went through this shit with fucking Julian and Shmay. I went through this shit with fucking Sierra and stupid Austin. And I sure went through this fucking shit when Joan moved in, man. You don't even know. Yeah, you don't even fucking know. I don't know what is wrong with people. Like, I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. Like, why doesn't this girl just pack her shit up, take my son, and go move into her parents' house, and go talk to her parents and treat her parents like this, seriously. And let my son fucking treat them like he treats, like she treats me. Yeah. Oh, fuck. Okay. So that should be fine. Now these lids, where are they? Right here. Okay, you have to remember, this is going to be in boiling water, right? So it's going to sterilize after 10 minutes of boiling. So you don't, and it's going to be in there for a long, long time. So you don't have to soak these things, okay? It's unnecessary. Because they're going to do what they're going to do. So don't worry about it. And a little bit of water isn't going to matter because the meat has got water, okay? What's important is that your rims are basically clean. And that you give it enough time, right? Without interrupting the process with that pressure inside your pot. So give it a little extra water on top of the jars, right? A little more than 1 inch, I would think. So that as it's, because you're not going to get, with a heavy lid like that, you're not going to get a lot of steam escaping. You're just not. That's the point. That's the point of this type of pot. Okay? Right? And what I'm hoping for is that this grease is not going to crawl. The reason I'm doing it this way is this layer of grease isn't going to crawl up. That's what I'm hoping. Because if you put it in a pressure canner, with it going through the heat, eventually you get that vortex. Right? And that's what makes the grease crawl. Not to say that it won't crawl. We'll find out. Okay? And then, of course, a little finger tight, right? Right? I mean, the worst that's going to happen if you tighten it too much is your jar will explode in your canner and you're just going to have food all over the place. And obviously, you don't... I mean, if you're starving, yeah, I suppose you could salvage it, but, it becomes animal food, minus the glass. Right? And then eventually, your lids, they loosen as they're cooking, right? Okay, so we're almost there with the process. So now I'm going to get them in the canner, okay? If I have to add a bit more water, I can turn on the canner now. The pot. This is not really well, I guess you could say it's a canner, right? 8 jars to start. I'll probably do another more 8 with beef and the rest of the pork tomorrow. So that will be after the kids leave, or I don't know, it's hard to say. Right? Yeah, I got enough water in here now. More than enough. Maybe too much. Because the water rises. But that's about, oh boy. Okay, so we're at about 3 and a bit in terms of inches of water. So in that situation, probably take out a little bit anyway. Right? But I myself, now, women that do this on homesteads that live off grid or whatever, right? They tend to, they're doing this on wood stoves and that kind of stuff, right? With blowing snow and seriously. So, in a situation, and depending on their type of pot that they're using or whatever, they find that they have to keep adding water throughout the whole process to keep that water over the jars. But the thing is, once you open the lid, you break the pressure on the inside of what's going on inside the canner. So, again, you want this kind, okay? And if you have to, instead of a 1 inch, you can see that's about 2 inches of water, okay? In the event that after 3 hours, you're going to get a little bit of evaporation sneaking through the sides, right? That should be more than enough water in there where I don't have to open that lid for the full duration of the 3 hours, because you want to keep that heat, okay? But if you have to add in a little extra, it comes up quite quick after the fact, so these other women say. And, it will be fine. I am trying to avoid that. Okay? So now that I've done that, see, I don't like doing this stuff at night. I used to be able to, right? But even with a little bit of daylight coming through my little teeny weeny window, tends to help me see better. But when it gets to be nighttime, things get even more glary for me and more foggy for me. Especially when I'm tired and stressed out, right? Stress definitely instigates this, whatever it is going on. Yeah, definitely. But, as much as other people would love me just to give up on life and sign myself up to be assisted suicide, just so that they can have their way with whatever they can make money on, whether it's the sale of a house or an estate sale, I suppose, when they're not taking what they want when they want it and throwing it the rest out. Like, I'm sick of it, people. Like, I'm so fucking sick of it, you don't even know. Like, I can't believe my son said that to me. Getting all bent out of shape because I didn't buy a fucking house like an immigrant. Well, you know what? Instead, I founded a non-profit to help fucking immigrants, to which the immigrants don't give a shit about the non-profit because they don't care about that shit. They care about getting wealthy for themselves. How about that? So that when they die, their kids and their grandkids can pillage what they accumulated while they were alive, as they destroyed other people's lives to get it. Talk about having your priorities mixed up. At least my priorities were fucking genuine. Serious. I'm so serious. So this is going to take a while to render. It hasn't even really started yet. But I have to continue doing what I'm doing. It gives me enough time to wash jars, get them in the oven, get everything ready. Alright, so now we bring it to a boil. It's going to take a while, and then once it starts to boil, and you got that rolling boil going, that's when you start your 3-hour countdown. Alright? And you can turn down the heat a little bit so that it's, it's not like this. Okay? And it's not like that, but it's more like that. Okay? So we're doing it a little more aggressively than when we were doing the Alfredo sauce. When we were doing the Alfredo sauce, it was down here, like this. Okay? Where this time we're going to go just a little faster. Okay? I want to cry. You know how hard it is to when you want to cry and you fight it off, you fight it off, you fight it off, you fight it off, and you fight it off. Like, I'm sick of it, people. I'm so fucking sick of it. Okay, so to keep it simple on myself, I think I'm going to do 1 full quart of straight up pork fat. So this way, if you want to make pie, because that's beautiful pork fat. You've seen how nice and white that is, okay? I'm so glad I bought it, people. You don't even know, right? But if you want to make pie dough, all that, you could get quite a few pies, okay? Whether it's for pot pie, chicken pot pie, whatever. Don't forget, we also got the beef tallow, or whatever, right? I'm just trying to keep it simple on myself, even though I know I'm going to be up for the next umpteen hours, right? You can hear it starting to almost get ready to start boiling. It's not quite boiling yet. Once I hear that it's boiling, then I'm going to turn it down, and I'm going to get it to that medium boil, okay? And then that's when I'll, pretty much, well, when it starts boiling. When it starts boiling, then I can start timing what I need to time. And it's 10:20, and I got 3 more hours of cooking to go. Thank you for the ones that just support what I do. I really do appreciate it. Okay? Now, I don't know how much pork fat is there, but I'm pretty sure I'll get at least a quart, okay? Now, I could do it in smaller jars, to which I will put these in there as backup. So even if I get a full quart and maybe 2 pints out of what I put in there, I'm feeling good, okay? Because it's out of my freezer and it will sit forever, okay? After it's been sealed. The only problem is, when you fill this up to the top with hot oil, this is where it could be dangerous, where you might want to consider this size instead, okay? Because when you fill it up with the hot lard and you're wanting to seal the lid, technically you're supposed to turn your jar upside down. I have videos on this, right? And you leave it like that for about 15 minutes, and then you flip it over, and what it does is it seals the jar, and then you're pretty much good to go. And because it's pork fat, it's shelf stable. It's gonna be a little iffy to turn it upside down like this, and God forbid if it cracks. You're gonna have hot grease everywhere. So whatever you do, make sure it's not near an open flame or a burner or anything, because that would be a very dangerous, serious situation. Okay. Now, I mean, I never thought about that, but maybe I should just do them in this size. I've got 4 of these, and I'm trying to, I only have so many wide mouth, and I've got that turkey, that beef, and that little bit of leftover pork that I need to deal with tomorrow, right? And then, of course, I'm going to do broth as well, because when this is all said and done, I just want to be able to go and grab a nice, assuming that it's going to be there and it wasn't chucked out or I was locked out of it or whatever, lock me out from my food, but whatever, let me beg for my food. I have to beg to go get my food in my house, whatever, It would be nice to be able to go into Auntie Shemay's room, and when this is all done with, go get myself a quart-size jar of Primo turkey broth and make my noodles with my wheat, fresh green ground, and whatever noodle maker I decide to use. Okay, so this is starting to boil. I need to pay attention. Okay. So we'll take it from 10:30. We got about 6 more minutes before it's 10:30, right? It's going to be coming into a full boil here very soon. So 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30. So I'm going to be cooking this until at least 1:30 in the morning, okay? And then after that, you turn off your heat, but do not lift up the lid. Otherwise, you're going to get that vortex going, and we're trying to avoid that, okay? Because we don't want to push that grease up and out. That's why I'm trying it this way, okay? Right? And so you let it sit for, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever. At least about that much, maybe between 10 and 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you know, give or take, right? And then crack your lid just a little bit, give it another 5 more minutes, take off the lid, you know, give it an extra 5 more minutes or so, and then pull out your jars, okay? And then you shouldn't get any siphoning, because if you take them out too soon, okay, and we don't want that. We want that grease to pretty much just stay where it is, okay? Because the more you can get it to stay where it is, right, the less it's going to crawl. Do you understand? That's why I put that extra layer of grease there, because it will combine together, and it will be like wax, a layer of wax over what's underneath, which will be meat and gelatin, with a little bit of salt. And then, of course, you've got that golden rule, as if you were using a pressure canner. You put it in a pot, you bring it to a boil. Once you see it boiling, put on your lid. If you don't want the liquid to evaporate, turn down your heat to a medium boil and just let it cook for 10 minutes. And if need be, you can add a bit more water in there just so that you have the liquid to make yourself a gravy. Okay, now you can hear it. You can see it. So here, this is where I would take it. I'm going to put it on 8 to see where the boil's going to be at, okay? And we are at 10:26. So we still got 4 minutes, give or take, to see where we're with this boil, okay? You can hear it slow down now, eh? And if you bring it to this type of a boil, you're not going to get a lot of evaporation, okay? Because ideally, you do not want to open the lid. That's one thing my mother taught me. All right. Because you disrupt the heat and the temperature within the pot itself. All right? So if you're going to do anything like this, get yourself a good pot with a good bottom, a thick base with a really nice heavy lid, and you'll never regret it. Okay? Oh yeah, this is nice. And when I do my other water bath canning, I usually bring my stove. See, everything's getting really, I'm so stressed out, people. Everything is it just washes over with white, like you don't even know. I usually bring my stove to about 8. You can hear it. It's a nice rolling boil. And this is what you're going to keep it on for the next 3 hours. And I'm supposed to go to what, 1:30 in the morning. And as long as you know, I'm not going to open the lid. I'm not, because I'm not going to get a lot of evaporation escaping from this pot. All right? I'm not worried about it. You could even turn it down just a tad bit. Just a tad bit. Just a tad. If you're not satisfied with it, if you think it's too low, you can just tap it back up. Okay, that's what I do. Right? And then you're not getting all this clanging, and you're not getting just, you know what I'm saying? All right. So now, if you're going to do lard, make sure you get this and have something like that. Otherwise, when you're dealing with any kind of hot lard, I'm telling you, it will melt the plastic. So these are clean because I was using them and they were in the oven, but I'm going to put them back in the oven. These ones are new, so I'm going to wash these ones. And I'm going to stay away from the quart size, I think, because I'm too tired to deal with having to try and flip over a quart size jar with extremely hot lard, because I'm basically going to take it straight from the oven after it renders and pour them into jars, put on my lids, flip them over, leave them for 15 minutes, flip them over, and they're going to seal and they're good to go. I'll keep it easy on myself because I don't feel that well, and I can't afford any accidents along the way. So I'm going to give myself at least 6 jars. I suppose I could go get a couple more just to be on the safe side. I don't think I'd get 8 jars, but you never know, right? And I have no regrets buying that lard when I did. And I still have 4 packs in the fridge for the beef, the rest of the pork that I have, as well as I'll probably do this with turkey as well. I'll use up all that rest of the lard for what I'm doing this, and I'm going to do all the batches more than likely this way. Okay, because I'm coming to the end of this, people. I really am. Right? Now I still have the fish I have to do. And I'm going to do the stock and the chicken, turkey, and I'm getting near the end. Nobody appreciates what I do anyway. They laugh, just like that girl was laughing at me. I don't care what my son said. Oh, she's nervous. No, she wasn't fucking nervous. Apparently, she recorded me because I said, "So what? You recording? You have my son listen?" He goes, "Well, he confirmed that she was." And, you know, if he fucking really listened to her, the way she was talking to me, she was being snide and sarcastic, and she thought it was fucking funny, and she was clearly mocking me. But of course my son doesn't want to hear that, because he's pussy whipped. Okay, so I turned it down a bit more, because as the heat gets hotter in the pot itself, it's going to boil faster, right? So, we don't need a high rolling boil. Okay? We just need a nice rolling boil. We don't need a rolling boil that makes you feel like that you're going to the moon and it scares the pants off you. Okay? Whoa, that's too much. You're gonna lose it there. So we got it at about 7.5 now. Okay, so I dropped it down. See? I'm getting waves of whiteness. This is another thing my kids don't understand. Okay, they just take everything for granted. Yeah, we're at about 7.5 right now. And I can see that we've got steam escaping. Okay? To which I've got it now closer to 7. Okay? Right? You just want it like this. Okay? And if you don't take off the lid, it just gets hotter and hotter and hotter. Right? Okay. We're on a mission now. We got 3 hours to go. Yeah. Okay, so I had to turn it down a little more because it's getting hot in there. Okay? The hotter it gets, like Uncle John would say, I like my water hot, so let it boil, 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 boil. Well, the more it boils, the hotter it gets, which, right? And then you're having to turn down your burner even more. And now I'm like pushing, oh, I don't know. It looks like we're in between 4 and 5, almost 4.5. And you can see how much is boiling in there, which is more than enough for what we're trying to do here, because we've got 3 hours to go. So you're gonna have to stand and watch it for a while, right? Until it stabilizes itself. It's not stable yet. Okay? Because the more it boils, the hotter it's gonna get, which you have to kind of turn down. Unless you want to go to the moon, that is, right? Like even like a pressure canner. Even with a pressure canner. You can't just let it go. You have to turn down the heat, right? And sometimes you're almost at 2 or 1 on your stove when you're watching these gauges. Yeah. Right? So this is where I like it. This is the boil that I like it at. Right? Now, if I can keep it at that for 3 hours, oh, I'm laughing. But it's hard to say is what's going to happen over the next 20 minutes. It's either going to drop or it's going to start to pick up again because of that pressure building in the canner, well, your pot. But as soon as you open that lid, you kind of defeat the purpose. Right? So that's more reason not to... Alright? Just saying. Okay, so I got 7 pint-sized jars, to which should be more than enough for this stuff. But this stuff, who knows how long it's going to take. For it to fully render. It's going to take hours. When I woke up this morning, I was feeling like crap. It happens every now and then. But I was motivated. Now, I heard the boil change. But it's still looking pretty good inside there. It's pretty good, right? It's not like this, and it's not like this. It's like that, which is a good boil. And because I did give it that little bit of extra water, it is kind of going up over the rim, to which I'm going to lose some water. Hard to say what's going to happen over the next 3 hours. Oh boy. So hold on. Andre's going to bed, but you gotta look at this cat. Turn around. It is too funny. This cat, all the way around. Look how this cat is laying on Andre's back. No, turn around this way. Okay, stop. Look, Lunar. If this cat is not relaxed, now turn around and face me. If this cat is not relaxed, I don't know what is. This is Andre's cat. He loves this cat, and this cat loves him. Hey, Andre?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good night. Good night.
Night.
Good night. You can go. That's just too funny, man. Too funny. Okay, so, anyway, do you see this boil? Now, I've turned this pot down from 8, well, it was on 9, then it went to 8, and now we're pushing at, it looks like 4. Do you see? You treat it the same way as a pressure canner. Okay? Because if I had it on 8, oh my God, water would be all over the place. I'm serious. It's not necessary. What's more important is that you don't break the pressure in the pot by taking off the lid. Now, if you're going to be doing this outside in the blowing snow with wind and everything on an open fire, harder to control the heat. So I could see why maybe they have to add in more water. But in a situation like this, you got a little bit of room to move with, right? But you still have to keep an eye on things. So, I don't know how long it's going to take to render this lard, but we're just going to keep going at it. And it's moving along quite nice in here. And if I'm lucky, everything will be done by, what, 2:30 in the morning? 2 o'clock, 2:30? 10:30, 11:30? Wait. I started at 10:30, right? 11:30, 12:30, 1:30. Canner goes off. Give it at least a half an hour before you even attempt to take out your jars, if not a little longer. So 1:30, so by 2, I can start getting ready to take out the jars. So, you know, that's like... we're only at 11 o'clock. I got like 3 more hours to go. So hopefully that lard will be rendered and I'll have these done at the same time that's done, to which would be perfect. But here's the problem. I gotta get up at 8 in the morning because Amari has an appointment at 11. And Tisha's gonna come pick him up all haughty and pick a fight with me because of what my son and his girlfriend are doing. Because she's already chosen to side with them. So you know the battle at some point is going to be on tomorrow. And it's going to drain me because I've got more canning to do, to which nobody appreciates because they're all money bags. And they believe that there's always going to be food available at an affordable price in the grocery store. Pathetic. As I'm being locked out of my own house with threats of throwing my shit, whatever's remaining down there, which is mostly fabric and food and those kind of miscellaneous things, out in the garage because my son's girlfriend wants more space. Basically. I'm sick of it, people. I'm so fucking sick of it. No wonder why I'm going blind. Because of the stress. It's like this with Joan. It was been like this with Sierra forever. It got worse when fucking Austin showed up. And then Shmay came in with the Julian. And it was just a repeat all over again. And for whatever sick reason, my son is now on that fucking bandwagon. This is why YouTube shadow bans my videos, because people don't talk about stuff like this, but this shit goes on in lots and lots of different households. People just don't talk about it because they're embarrassed. You know, whatever. I was so proud of Andre today. We were doing whatever we were doing in here, and he listening more now, right? Because I'm teaching him how to look after Amari. You know, explaining to him that there's really not that many people out there, if at all, who really want to look after Amari because they quote-unquote love Amari. Oh, sure, if they can get $3,000 plus a month to look after Amari, then yeah, they're going to come out of the woodwork. You know that. But, you know, if they have to go through what I go through, no. Anyway, I told Andre, I said, you know, Andre, you've been with him since he's been a baby. And I know you love him, and he sure loves you. And more than anything, that's what Amari needs in life, is for somebody to love him and look after him. And sooner or later, Nana not going to be able to do it. And being that Andre's going to be tall and strong, you know, Andre will be capable of looking after Amari. He just needs to mature and grow up. Anyway, we were doing whatever, and Andre said, "Did you hear that?" And I'm like, "What?" He ran off, and he checked on Amari. He heard it before I did this time. And sure enough, Amari had a pillow on his head. Because that's what Amari's been doing lately. I was so proud of Andre. So proud of him. You don't even know, people. I told Andre there are going to be people out there that will not want you to look after Amari. And it's not because they want to look after Amari. They just want to be in control. They want to be in control of the money that Amari could or might represent, especially if this lawyer decides it needs to go to court, because Amari deserves justice after the fact of me submitting this paperwork. And even if that didn't happen, Amari will still need someone to look after him, who loves him, who won't do it, quote unquote, for the money, right? But if there's money, oh yeah, they're gonna come out of the fucking woodwork, and everybody's gonna be fighting over Amari and who gets to look after him, even though the only one that really pays attention and is even inclined to make an effort is Andre. And you know everybody around him is gonna convince him that he won't be able to do it, people, because they won't want Andre to be in control. When it's Andre that is there for Amari. Well, everybody else is plotting and scheming how to destroy our lives so they can be in control. Like my son going outside after he ragged on me, called me down, called me names, made threats on me, and then went outside and asked Andre if he wants to move in with Marcaine and let Marcaine be the parent instead of Nana. What do you want? You want Nana to be your parent, or do you want me to be the parent? I guess Andre looked at Marcaine and said, well, I want Nana to be the parent. Marcaine didn't like that answer and then said, well, think about it. Think about it. Like, get the fuck out of here. You got a fucking girlfriend. You got to fucking marry her. Go have your own fucking kids. Like, seriously. Oh, you want Andre, but you don't want Amari. I wonder why. Oh, maybe because when your girlfriend, soon-to-be wife, gets pregnant, Andre will know how to help with the baby. Isn't that just grand? Not allowed to help with the baby that he's been with since practically the baby's been born. But he's got to go somewhere else and help. I don't know. Who knows? It's just stupid. I don't understand why this is even happening, people. I just don't get it. All I know is I'm proud of Andre. And he's going to be big. And that's what's going to be required to look after Amari. Because even as I carry him, because there's nobody around to fucking help me with that, I do it myself still at this point. After I'm done carrying him from there to there, oh man, you don't even know how I feel. But I'm old. I'm supposed to be sick and useless. So what does it matter how I feel? As long as I be gone. But while I'm here, I tell Andre, if you want to look after Amari, you're the best candidate for that. And don't let anybody ever tell you you can't. once you learn completely how to do it, to which he's been learning, people. Something those individuals don't want him to learn. Because, you know, that would be too good. They'd rather him, what, be a baker, be a carpenter, be a working at McDonald's, whether it's at the cashier or what, upper management, after they hammer in to learn how to read, be a tree cutter, what, be an accountant, after they hammer in what they're trying to teach him as they make him hate me and Amari. Do you see where we're at with this situation? And these are supposed to be the representatives of a good fucking role model? Yeah, okay. Nowhere in that equation is Amari. Because that is work. And that's what I told Andre. If you decide that you want to look after Amari because you love him, and that's something that you want to do because he's always going to need you, nobody can take that away from you if that's what you want to do. And I was so proud of him when he said, "Did you hear that?" I'm like, "What?" And he bolted. Yeah, he heard it, people, because I'm teaching him. But that's not important, though, right? No, that's not what's important here. So we've got this burner at 4, and you can hear it. So we're getting to the point where it's getting to be stable now. But the longer it stays at this rate, at some point it's going to speed up because it just gets hotter and hotter. But if we can keep it at about this rate, you're not going to have to open the lid and break the pressure within the pot, because the water level will pretty much stay the same. And that, to me, is the bigger goal here. Okay? If I was outside doing it in a snowstorm or on a wood stove in the rain or whatever the weather conditions are, then yeah, because, you know, with a flame, who knows? It's hard to control, right? Much harder. This is a little more easier. I'm feeling pretty good about this. Okay, I've done enough canning over the years to not worry about it. People have been doing this for a long time, and just remember, in other countries there is no such thing as pressure canners, and this is how they get through war times and depressions and famine and whatever it is, just daily living, cost of living, inflation, and they are all fine. Okay, so now we're at 12:13, and we got to go to what, 1:30 in the morning at least. You can see what's going on in there. Okay, it's not something that makes your heart race. Okay, and it's sure in a heck not getting water all over the place. And you're not breaking the pressure by opening the lid, by adding more water, because it's evaporating out too much, too fast, as if you had it on 9. which would clang the jars together. But this is a nice rolling boil, okay? And it's on about, from what I can tell, 4. Where am I? Right? You can see that. And the longer it stays on 4, which has been quite a while now, it's actually starting to pick up speed because it's getting hotter in there. But I'm not going to turn it down. I'm going to leave it on 4 because this is still manageable. The key is not to take off the lid, okay, and change that pressure that's inside the pot. This is why these kinds of lids are perfect, because very little is evaporating, and you can see there's a lot of water in there still. Boy, I'm slurring over my words because I'm getting tired. Well, who wouldn't be, right? After having a day like me. Okay. And of course I'm stirring my fat that's rendering in the oven. Right? And there's about, well, at least 1 full jar of pure lard. I'm pretty impressed with this fat, man. It's nice. And I just don't know if it's going to be ready at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'll be staying up until 3:30 in the morning rendering fat. That's okay though. I only got a few days of doing this, and once it's done, whew, it will be done, and I'll have no regrets. Yeah, and then I can maybe get into that fish that I have in the freezer, because I'm emptying out the freezer a bit to make room for raw almonds, to make almond milk, so that when we do our smoothies or whatever we do, we've got that option too, right? And then you take the pulp and you make crackers. Anyway, I guess I'll be back. Okay, so now it's 1:30 in the morning here. And as you can see, the water is picked up. I laid down, unfortunately, and I wasn't paying attention for the last hour. I should have turned it down just a bit. Either or. It is what it is. Right? We're just trying this out, but that boil is a little bit not the way I wanted it. Either or. Hold on. Okay, so now it's 1:50 in the morning. So I turned it off at 1:30, so... Right? So it's had a few minutes to rest. You can see the water is nice and clean. I just took off the lid, so we're just going to give it another 5 more minutes, and then we're going to start taking out the jars. Now the thing about this is it was a 3-hour boil, and because I laid down, I had my timer on. I didn't fall asleep. Oh, God forbid if I fell asleep. But it's okay. I didn't fall asleep. I heard the timer. So it... And it's the amount of time to give that heat enough time to travel through your jar. And I can tell there's almost about an inch left of water on top of the jars, which is perfect. Well, maybe a little less. Maybe about between a half to 3/4 of an inch left. And I was, what, about 2 inches over when I started? About that, right? So that's a spot-on job. Okay.
Americans across the board, Republican, Democrat,
And this
independent,
lard
non-voting,
isn't
all
completely
together,
rendered yet.
believe the election was stolen. So just keep telling us it wasn't. And just keep telling us there were no feds on January 6th.
It's ready to
And
go
just keep
soon,
telling us that,
but not quite yet.
there's not a fentanyl problem. Because you know they get talking points for Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy, whatever the hell his name is, Kimmel, and all of them. Stephen Colbert. And I mean, they have almost no viewers.
Now this is nice because
And about 6 months ago, they all in 1 week,
all that grease that I put into the jar is melted, and when it solidifies, it's going to rise to the top, and you're going to get a fair amount of grease as an extra seal for everything that's underneath. And that's why I did it this way. That's what I wanted.
And destruction all around you.
And this water
Did Biden steal the election? Do bears take dumps in the woods? Excuse my French. Biden fumbles re-election.
is very clean.
Big Pharma scrambled the very news of lethal jabs. Yeah, we've got the videos. We've got it all. He couldn't even do a live announcement, and he bumbles and fumbles the recording.
Right? Now this is where you got to be careful when you're taking out your jars. Because from hot to cold air, which it's cool in the house right now,
So,
you can get that.
this is the point, ladies and gentlemen. And when you read these headlines like, how green the
Right.
economy will destroy America, it's not
So I'm almost a little
green,
nervous to
it's
take any more jars out. I think I'm going to give it a few more
ready
minutes.
with crime and murder and collapse. Has
And we're
nothing
going to
do with
move
the
them
government, everything to do
over
with
more.
China and all the other globalist slave states getting all
Just
our
a
jobs.
bit,
It's about making America
because I'm going to
possible
need a
to
bit of a
business
workspace
They can produce it in the slave
to
country,
pour
and its middlemen ship it back here and control it. That's all
this grease
it
into these
is
jars.
about. Period.
To which
All right.
I really don't want to be doing that at 4:30 in the morning.
Biden announces re-election bid, saying battle for national soul isn't complete. That's right. You haven't gotten all our souls yet. Trump on
So I'm
Biden's
feeling
re-election
pretty good about this.
is worse than the 5 worst presidents combined. I absolutely agree.
Nothing
with
is-
that. And Trump also came out and said it's
See, my
treason.
nerves are completely
The 51
frazzled.
current and former intelligence officials who signed the letter claiming Hunter Biden's laptop was fake were involved in treason. to steal
All
the
I'm
election.
thinking about
Here
is
the clip of
these
President Trump.
people downstairs locking me out of my house. So when the breaker blows and I need to go flip the fucking breaker, and if nobody's down there, I won't be able to get in. Go figure. Right? As they continue to poke around in my shit and do whatever they want. Like seriously, it's like 5 minutes to 2 in the morning, and I'm still ragging on about it.
You should revoke, when you revoke their security clearance.
Right. I need to get into the basement ASAP. It's an emergency, and I can't get in because they're not home. They're home. I don't live here. This is not my home. I don't know what this place is.
So, also in election news, the Hill report,
Go away.
saying
Seriously,
RFK
go
Jr.'s
fucking
long-shot
away.
presidential bid may still give Biden a headache. Yeah, pointing out Biden's a lying tyrant, injecting real issues into the campaign. Yeah, only way Kennedy loses is by not running. Because even if he loses, he injects truth in. See, resistance is victory.
This water
We don't
is
know who
so
of us will
nice
take it
and
over the
clean.
top. Who of us will score knockout blows?
I'm
If we
so
don't get in the
impressed.
ring,
I guess when you do fish, oh my god, my nerves are completely frazzled. When you do fish, you do it for 4 hours. If you do vegetables, like carrots and beans and all that stuff, right? If you don't add vinegar or soak in vinegar beforehand, you have to do it for the full 3 hours. But if you start using,
Obama, you know, nobody's better than
I hear something maybe siphoning here.
It's fetish behavior.
This is, like I said, this is where you gotta be, yeah, this is where you gotta be careful. This jar came out, and I can feel it.
I saw some military person who's killed a bunch of people say that.
I can hear it.
You know what? I've never met anybody in the military, put war heroes and people that sit around and brag.
So I'm just gonna give it a couple of more minutes.
People, 'cause they actually did.
Um,
But all the people
oh
that
my
who wipe their ass.
Hold on a
With both
minute.
hands. They're all Hillary. We came, we saw, she died. We have to watch all these sick, weird witches who literally couldn't punch their way out of a paper bag. Tell us how great death and destruction is. That's coming up next segment. One of our special guests. These people are sick. All right, we're going to go to break in a few minutes. Look, here's how it works.
Yeah. 4 hours for fish, 3 hours for meat and vegetables without vinegar. If you add vinegar to your carrots or whatever, tablespoon or whatever it is, it's 2 hours. Or if you pre-soak, I guess, your vegetables in a bit of a solution of vinegar brine solution of some sort, then it's 2 hours. Otherwise, it's 3 hours right across the board. Okay? Now, I don't know if that's boiling or if it's siphoning out. To me, it feels like it's siphoning out because the towel is wet. Okay? And this is why you want to just give it a few more minutes to rest. Okay? Now, what I could do after I take these out is I can fill up my jars because they're in the oven now, right? To the maximum of whatever, and then just put the tray back in with the remaining pork fat into the oven and just lower the temperature to 225 and just let it carry on for the rest of the night to see what happens to it and not sweat it. Okay, like seriously. And deal with it when I get up in the morning, which will be soon enough. So yeah, I feel like one jar siphoned out here a little bit. And they're sealing in the water. Okay. It's just, I'm tired. That's what's happening here. I'm tired and I'm disgusted with this whole situation. Like, if there's an emergency and I need to get into the basement and I can't, that's messed up. Like, really freaking messed up. And I know for a fact somebody's in there moving shit around in the freezer part anyway. And you know what I did, people? I don't know, like, I went off and I bought more maple sugar. It was, oh geez, a fair amount of money. And I'm going to store it upstairs. Because I know I have maple sugar downstairs in the 1.9 liters. The thing is when I went into the closet to take out all the soaps and everything, somebody had already gotten in there and got into some soap boxes and took out a whole bunch of freaking bar soaps and whatnot. And like I said, I don't get down there. I'm not allowed to go down into my own house, down into that area down there. And if I do go, it's like my son will either start fucking yell at me over something stupid, or he's like, hurry up, get out of here, and why are you here? And like, I'm lucky to get down there once fucking month to do anything in terms of work, quote unquote. Like, it's bullshit, right? And so anyway, I had to buy new maple sugar I'm putting it upstairs because, you know, I'm going to be cooking soon. Soon I won't be doing this. And, you know, I want to give Mari more better nutrients. Maple sugar is one of them. And there's another sugar that I bought that's even somewhat better than maple sugar, only I don't know what it tastes like. And it's really high in magnesium, I think it is. Yeah. Okay, I gotta do this because I'm feeling ill. But I think this one jar was siphoned out a little bit. Bugs me. I don't like that when they siphon out. This is nice. The water's nice and clean. Mm-hmm. Like really clean. Oh, but I'm starting to feel really... Because that's what happens. I overworked myself. So we got 8 jars of that to start. So that's very, very good. Obviously, I'm going to have to pick up and do another, at least 8 more jars tomorrow. And then I'll probably do another 8 more jars, assuming that I have, which I don't think I do, have another 8. I don't think I have, I might have 16 jars in this size, pint size, which would probably be just more than enough for what I need. Otherwise, I'm going into quarts, right? And then I'll get caught up with what's up here and what I took out of the freezer. And then I'll do the bacon and the ham hocks. And then after that, I won't have to do any meat or anything. And I'll get into the canned peaches and all that other crap that I need to do. But I don't have to worry about that for a couple, 2, 3, 4 weeks. So I'm good. Like, I'm feeling really good about it. So now I can put this lid on here. Outside of being robbed from the basement. Because clearly my son doesn't respect me. And neither does his girlfriend. If anything, they're trying to destroy me. And if that's the case, they should just fucking move. But of course, we know that won't happen because, you know, they're in control. All right, so yeah, I hate doing things at night. It's so hard for me to see. All right, so we're gonna grab. We're just gonna keep it simple. We're gonna grab 2 jars. This grease is hot. And we're gonna do 2 jars at a time with what I have here. Oh, sure. Crash jars around. And then what's left will go back into the oven at 225 instead of 250. And it can just sit there, I guess, till the morning. And then I'll see what goes on with that. And I'll deal with it then. Now, I'm not straining this, however, I don't want chunks of pork in there. I don't know what fell, but something did. So I am going to use this just in case, because I'm kind of cheating here, right? Normally you run this stuff through a sieve, but you seen how white that fat was, okay? So it's important that I don't get grease everywhere. Oh yeah, this is going to be hard. So we're just going to start filling up our jar one at a time. Even if there's little bits of pork fat, that's okay. The screen's going to catch it. And then I'm going to put it back into the pan as I go about my business. It smells very good. It's like I said, these days are numbered. Only reason I can do it so well is because I've done it so many times. But for what I can see, it's not that great. Right? I'm just going to put it back in there. Start over again. Until the jar's full. I'll get 2 or 3 anyway. 2. Probably 2 for now. Now I gotta watch the headspace. And I gotta make sure this pan doesn't fall on me, God forbid, if this thing falls on me. I'd be in very big, I'd be with Tisha's dad at the hospital, sharing a room with him. And he'd be making passes at me. Yeah. Hey. And I'd be like, get your paws off me. That's exactly what would happen. Boy, oh boy. Oh boy, don't scare yourself now. Gotta have that heart of steel, okay? My eyes are just bouncing around everywhere. Okay, I'm in trouble. There is something there that does not need to be there. Oh God, where did you go? Yeah, where did you go? Don't tell me you fell in there. Oh, I think it did, people. See, I can't see. I tried to prevent it from falling into the jar, and I think it flipped into the other jar. Now, mind you, once it's all said and done, it ain't gonna make much of a difference. Okay, so I think I got about 3 jars. I think I can do one more. I think. Well, my days are almost numbered with this, which will be very sad for me. And I'll become even more vulnerable. Yeah. Even more vulnerable. Now, because this is extremely hot, what we want to do is get some paper towel. Get some vinegar on it. You don't want it sopping wet. So, right. Clean your rim. Be very careful because your jar will be extremely hot. And then get a clean, dry lid. Okay. Oh my. What have I done? Those aren't even the right sizes. Okay. Alright, I've shown this to you before, but if you haven't seen it, it's pretty straightforward. You don't have to pressure can pork fat, although when I did the bacon into those salmon-sized jars, and then I put the fat, the bacon fat, into the little 1.25 mil or 125 mil jars, which are the real small ones. I threw that in the pressure canner at 75 minutes and they came out fine. Screw on your lids tight. Gently turn your jar upside down. there's a little piece of pork fat in there, because one was slipping out, but whatever. I'm not going to worry about it too much at this point. And then I probably have enough for at least one more jar for now. Fill up the next jar, nice and hot. And remember what I told you, you can keep your jars in for the whole night. You don't have to take them out. They can handle 250 for well over 24 hours, or however long. But in this case, I'm just going to turn it down to 225 and continue rendering and just see what we get in the morning. And if I want to, after the fact, I could refreeze this. I'm just saying, as is. But I need to make room for those almonds. So. Oh boy. Come on. I have to use a different spoon here. That's good. Go up to about a ½ inch head space or so. Okay. Now, I suppose the only other thing that I'd want to maybe try one day, just for the sake of trying it, because I did read in comments where somebody did this. They pressure canned their beef tallow in a pressure canner to seal their jars versus putting it in the freezer. To which, at some point, when I go see the butcher, and if I ask for more fat, and he gives me beef fat, that's what I'll attempt to do, just to see how it reacts under a pressure canner for 75 minutes, so I can make it shelf stable versus having to rely on the freezer. Whereas you don't have to do it with pork fat. It's different. But somebody's already pressured canned beef fat, as well as like deer and that kind of stuff. Wild game, right? Boy, I'm not doing very good here. Where's my lids? Lovely. I don't got my shit together. And of course I can't see. And what I normally use isn't here. There's one. So try and make sure these things are ready before you do this. Almost done. I go lay down. Go to sleep. I don't know about this. Rim is not a very big rim. I'll show you in a second. Okay, so I'm going to turn this one over. And what happens is the hot grease disinfects your lid. So it's actually quite tasty. Really good, actually. So I'm just going to throw that back in the oven, but I'm just going to turn down the heat to 325. I find when you start taking out the grease, it doesn't render as well as if you were to leave it. But that is so tasty. You don't even know how tasty that is. Like, really good. You could take that as is and let it cool and then freeze it on a cookie sheet, right? And then take out a few pieces at a time. Oh man, when you need it for cooking. Like, this is tasty. Yeah. It's really good for what it is. But I'm trying not to put things into my freezer at this point until the almonds come. So we're just going to put this back in the oven at 225 for the rest of the night. And I'll deal with it in the morning. In the meantime, we got 3 full jars of really delicious lard. Like, it's really tasty. Oh yeah. And then after about 10 minutes or so, you flip your jar over. And if it hasn't sealed by then, it will seal. And I'm done for the night. This is good. Except for this one jar I have to flip over in a few more minutes. Oh man, that stuff tastes so good. Oh God. So good. No regrets. It took me a while to get it done. Right? But I'm glad I did it, and I'm going to do everything that I got to get done this way. So I'm going to do this with turkey, with pork fat on top. I've got beef that was discounted, and some more pork in there. And oh shit, I'm not done yet. I just remembered, thank God. And I'm going to do pork fat on top again. And I just remembered. I have a stewing hen over there that needs to go into a pot. So I should have done that a while ago, but it would have been hard to do this. So, I'm not done yet. Unless I want to take the whole bird and throw it outside for the raccoons. Oh, God. So, I don't know. I'll check it. I might have to put that in the pot just yet. It's been sitting over there. It was frozen though. See? Okay, so this is what I've done. You don't touch the lids. You don't want a false seal. So, from what I can see, to me they look like they all sealed, but except for maybe this one didn't. Where am I? This one didn't. You can see that it's right now. It will probably seal, and if not, then in the morning it goes in the fridge. Right? It happens sometimes. Could be grease. Right? They're still sealing, okay? But you want to have them seal on their own. And then this one here, I just flipped this one over. I can see that it hasn't sealed yet, but I think the other two have, right? From what I can see, because I'm trying to see the shadowing, right? You can see it's, right? Where the other ones, okay. And then this chicken was cold, and it's a stewing hen that I paid a fair amount of money for, people. And I bought it like a couple years ago, and it's big. I think one was $15 and the other one was like $22 or something like that. It was expensive. And this one's big, so either or, it's fine. So, but I can't go to sleep yet. I changed the water. Tomorrow I'll change the pot after I can cut the bird, and right, this is a nice high pot, and but I have to bring it, get it cooking and let some of the scum come off. So what, am I going to be up for another 45 minutes? It's like 20 to 3 in the morning. But this will either be broth for the turkey that I'm going to can, or I just might end up canning straight up broth, or maybe I'll just can the chicken with the broth. I'm not sure yet. I just know I wanted it out of the freezer. So I'll just call it a night and end this video and start again tomorrow, but I have to stay up for a little while and deal with this first. Okay, so now it's the next day. I went to sleep at 4 in the morning. Oh no, I don't know. Tisha got here at 9. Now it's 10:14. Murray's going to his appointment. As you can see, right, I think everything's sealed. It appears that way. Yeah. So everything's sealed. So that's good. So at some point I'll wash these jars. See, this is what I wanted. Now, let's just see here. Hold on a minute. Let's just see. Find a lid that can come off easy. Here. Here's one that can come off pretty easy. Now, this is exactly why I did what I did. By doing it this way, if you notice on the rim, look how nice and clean it is in there. Okay? If it would have been in a pressure canner, I'm just telling you here, all this in here would have been covered with grease because the pressure canner would have pushed a whole lot of stuff out. Okay? Just through the pressure canning process within that. It's a pint size, so it would have been for 75 minutes. Where this one, from what I can tell, there's hardly anything there. which will help to control the grease from crawling, people, because it can compromise the jar and make it pop sooner than later, right? You want it to pop later if it ever pops. You have a higher probability of it not popping in a cool, dark place with that, like that, clean inside. Okay? So even for 3 hours, it didn't gather up on here. So that's exactly what I wanted. Plus, you have that extra layer of fat, which is delicious, by the way. So, you know, right? You can use it for frying. You can scoop that off first and fry things, or you can just mix it in right into your gravy, whatever, right? The point is, you can clearly see that the fat wasn't pushed up out of the jar where it stuck to the rim so much, from what I can tell. Not as if it was in a pressure canner, that's for sure. Yeah. When they're not turning, wait till you run them under water. This one turns. Wait till you run them under water. I don't have a flashlight. And then they'll easily turn off. Same thing, right? The fat is covering up any meat. Whereas if you were to defat it, pack it raw, do it in a pressure canner, you'd have grease all over the place in here. Plus, your meat would be above the gelatin area, and it would be exposed to the jar, which brings in discoloration. It's not going to ruin your food, but I would think that with the extra fat, it just keeps it moister. Okay? Okay, so this I'm really, really, really pleased with, and I got what I basically wanted. Okay, so now for the next whatever I can between now and tomorrow, right? So we're going to do another batch of the meat that I bought in the store first. Do that today, start early, and then I've got the chicken stock here, the stewing hen. I'm going to change that into the other pot so I can use this pot for the canning. And then once I'm done with the first batch, depending on the time, I will probably do this as well with the turkey. Whatever, right? Pretty much. But yes, I'm definitely, from what I can tell, I'm definitely pleased with this. Definitely. Yeah, very nice. Look how nice and clean that is in there. Very nice.